I got a question for you. Are you living life, or is life living you? How bad do you want to be successful? Are you ready to level up in life? Are you ready to go to that next level? Are you sick of being average? I ask you again, are you living life, or is life living you? Blessed and unstoppable, the international world tour. Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, coming to a city near you. I'll be teaching a 4-hour, life-changing seminar on the art of greatness. Arise, champion. Every city will sell out. Get your tickets now. Miami, LA, Chicago, New York, Houston, Phoenix. Be there. Get your tickets now at billyalsbrooks.com/events. I hear the sound of a comeback. Decisions ignite the explosion of change. And you are only one decision away from changing your whole life. My words are about to water the seeds of greatness that God planted in you a long time ago. I speak to the warrior in you, to the leader in you, to the champion in you. Every challenge, trial, and tribulation you face is a future testimony. Your victory could be somebody else's inspiration. Never, ever give up. I hear the sound of a comeback. Failure is not an option. Refuse to concede. Opportunity will always find the person who refuses to quit. Breakthroughs are the offspring of consistent, focused intensity. Keep your mind on victory. Keep your mouth on victory. And in the morning when you open your eyes, you get up and you walk out that victory. I hear the sound of a comeback. I went to war with myself on the inside with panic attacks. Every single day I had a panic attack. I'm talking years. I'm not talking weeks. See, in the music life, it was all about get it fast. Get it right now. We got a hit record. We got to get some shows in 3 months. We got to have it. Boy, this struggle was years. I wasn't built for that at that time. Now I'm designed for the struggle. But at that time, I wasn't. So every day, I'm having these attacks, and everything's being slowly ripped away from me. I'd gotten out of the music business in August, so I had nothing like to turn to. Like I was still trying to find myself. Like, who's Billy? And now I got my dad gone and this big struggle with panic attacks. Every twitch, every turn is just messing me up, man. I went from being on stage in front of 20,000 people down here at Orlando, Cali Orange, downtown, 20,000 people, to being locked up in the bedroom, in the master bed, sitting in the corner, scared to leave, because if I left that house, I was gonna have me a panic attack. Half the time I wouldn't even get to the car, I'd have a panic attack and run back inside like a little kid. This was my life for 7 years, man. I had put a lot of money up from the music and the business we have. But see, now I'm not grinding because I'm not focused, man. And slowly that money is like this over the years, right? Because you grind this years thing. I'm struggling, man. I called AT&T when I was going through these panic attacks. Called them up and said, hey, something wrong with my phone. Can you check it? Well, they ran a check on it and said, no, nothing wrong with your phone. Everything's good. I said, something wrong with it. It ain't rang in weeks. Ooh, see, I was out of the music business now. A lot of the people, the rappers and all that life, all that stuff over there, the ones that was with you but not really with you, the ones that called for the limo ride, but they ain't there when we out there grinding every night, those people, right? They were gone. They were never there anyway. But it was a cold reality because here I'm struggling. Man, I could have used a phone call every now and then. Sometimes you don't realize what a phone call can do. Just to say hello to somebody, and I needed it, but it didn't ring. So it's just me, right where God wanted me. Sometimes we had to get to the end of us before God will come in. Like Justin was saying earlier about the desperation. Desperation is the invitation for divine intervention. I started doing this one thing that changed my life. and put me here. Okay, I had tried everything. I couldn't do the drugs to get off this, panic attack stuff. I couldn't do that because of my family history. I was going to therapist after therapist after therapist, psychologist, everything you could imagine I was doing. Because I was serious. I was trying to get my life back. Everything being ripped from me. But I started doing this one thing. When I started having these panic attacks, I'd put my shoes on and I'd go outside my house and start walking the block. I had this long 1 mile block, square block. I'm yelling at God, screaming at God, numb to God, not saying nothing, yelling, all different emotions, the cocktail rainbow emotions that you have. Neighbors looking at me and saying, boy, Billy really lost his mind. Look, he out there talking to himself. He really has lost his mind. I heard about that. I wonder why all them cars ain't over his house no more. It used to be like 20 cars, or ain't nobody over there now. It's reality. I'm going around this block and I'm saying, God, why me? Why me? But I'm walking around this block every day just struggling. And finally, I got to the point I cut a deal. Anybody cut a deal with God? Come on now, ain't nobody cut a deal with God? I'm not the only one now. So I'm like, Lord, here's what I do. I ain't got nothing else to give you. I've been tithing even when I'm sick. I've been doing everything you tell me to do. Started reading the word, started going to church every day, all that. Went to the men's group every Monday night, Wednesday night, Sunday, all of that. Still not healed. See, there's a difference between religion and relationship. Religion don't heal nobody. Putting a Sunday suit on don't heal nobody. It don't allow you to walk in victory just because you got a suit on in some building. We call it church. That ain't church. We the church. We just go to a building to assemble. But I tried everything. It's about relationship. This is what I learned, see. I'm out there and I'm like, Lord, if you heal me, I'll go out and tell the world who did it. That's all I got to offer. That's all he needed. He's like, boom. Been waiting on that. See, now he didn't cause the struggle. Some people say, well, he caused the struggle. That'd be against his nature. He's not going to put that on me. That's the enemy that did that. But what the devil meant for harm, God will make good. He used the enemy like chess, right? I'm going to get the enemy to attack him and then watch what I do. I'm going to give him a testimony. Can't be no testimony, Jay, right, without a test. The longer the test, the greater the destiny. You say sometimes, why it take us so long? Because your future's so bright. See, when I say champion, y'all hear me on these videos talking about champion, I'm not talking about sports. Okay, that's an element of it. I'm talking about champion of life. I don't believe a person should be called a champion. You're a fighter, you understand this. Should not be called a champion until they've been knocked down on the mat. Till they've been knocked out and the whole world writes them off. Then we get to define who we are. Because everybody can front run when everything good, when the money right, when the marriage smooth, when you get the promotion and all of that. But let's find out who you really are when the devil strips everything away from you. What you built like. Let's see who you really are when everybody leaves. So I'm out there praying. I make the deal with God. And God starts moving. Blessed and unstoppable. Success starts with putting the right things into your mind. And my new book, Blessed and Unstoppable, was strategically designed to align your mind with the laws of success. This curriculum will teach you the inner mechanics required to go from average to phenomenal. From living a life with limits to being blessed and unstoppable. As you follow this guide step by step, amazing breakthroughs will happen. New doors of opportunity will open. And favor will begin to chase you down. Blessed and Unstoppable is a 31-day devotional on the laws of success. This book will instigate the thought process and actions required to transform your life. Each day has a Bible verse, a teaching on that day's principle, a positive affirmation, a prayer for the day, self-assessment questions, success quotes, action steps, and a powerful inspirational message. Regardless of what field you're in, Blessed and Unstoppable is your blueprint for success. Get Get your copy at lessthanunstoppable.com. Also available on Amazon. 17 years I was in the music business, grinding, chasing what the world calls success. The money, the cars, the houses, the women, all of that. I immersed myself fully in that world thinking if I did this, I'd be accepted. If I got to the next level, people would love me, like me, be my friend, right? Everything that they tell us success is, right? They will listen to me if I got a little money, a little change, I got a voice. Means I'm somebody, right? This is what the world tells us. All of that is a lie. I learned it the hard way. See, every song that I did, I thought if I just got a song on radio, they'll love me. Wasn't enough. The circle got bigger. Right? Going to the club, the circle keeps getting bigger when you're in the rap world, right? The more you climb that ladder, the circle get wider. The circle big. But ain't nobody really with you. Can you understand what I'm saying? A lot of friends, but nobody really with you. And every time I climbed that ladder, it just seemed like the hole on the inside got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now see, I was confused because I had success. And success sometimes will fool you thinking that you're in the center of your calling when you're really not. Now I was close. See, when you're close to the calling, you bear fruit. See, I was behind the mic, rapping. I just wasn't all the way in the center of my calling. So there was anointing just because I had the mic in my hand, because that's what I've been called to do. But I was out of position. The fullness of the blessing could not come to me. For you to walk and be blessed and unstoppable, you got to be in the center where God made you to be. That's where you're going to walk in the fullness of the power. That's when things happen. That's when doors open. See, in the music business, every time I did another record, did another album, did another song, got on another station, I kept going higher and higher, but I kept hitting this ceiling. It seemed like no matter what I did, I hit this ceiling, because there's limits to what you can accomplish outside of God's will. Now, I grinded, I hustled, and I aligned with every other principle that God had except being in the center of his calling. I couldn't understand it. Like, what is this? Every time I was about to get that real big payday, something would happen. Am I right, Joe? Come on, man. We got let down so many times. We was at the negotiating table with the biggest major labels in the country, 5 different albums, songs on Billboard, everything. Get all the way to the table, did everything they said we had to do to get that deal, but something wouldn't happen. See, God was intervening. God was intervening. 2006, man, I'm on my last album and I'm getting burned out, man. I'm like, finally, I came to God with this. Because when we try and do everything we can and it don't work, then we turn to God. Can somebody say amen? I was at that point now. I knew God. My mother and father raised me in the church. I knew God, but I didn't have a real relationship with God. You hear me? Now, I got in my teenage years, got on this mic, and all that church stuff was like, that ain't cool. Ain't nobody in the cool club at church. You know, look how they dress. Look how they talk. Listen to the music they listen to. That's not cool. And see, I just had to be cool. And that wasn't cool. Or at least I thought wasn't cool, right? But 2006, I'm like, Lord, something ain't working. I said, if this is my thing, if this is what you made me to do, then make it happen. Let me know this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm fine with waiting year after year. I don't care. I will grind until whenever, as long as I know you're with me. But if you're not with me, then shut this down and get me to the thing that you called me to do. Oh, he heard me. I was expecting him to open that music door open. He had something else in mind, right? So I cut a deal with God. Anybody ever cut a deal with God? 2006, September. I said, okay, if you are in this music business with me, then make this happen. I wrote some things down that I hadn't been able to accomplish in music, some big things. Because I was grinding hard and I wanted to make sure it was God and not me, right? So I set the bar real high. And I said, this don't, we put a time limit on it. If this don't happen in 60 days, Lord, I'm done. We tell God what time we want it, right? 60 days goes by, November 12th. I still remember pulling the bottle out, pull that sheet out. Nothing was accomplished, nothing. Now I'm mad. I'm not mad at God. I'm mad that I wasted 17 years in this. I'm like, why did I waste all this? It was like a bitter breakup between, ex-girlfriend. I didn't want to hear nothing to do with music. Don't say music around me. You know this true. My buddy back there was in the music business with me. He know. He'd bring it up, man, where we going to go? Man, I don't want to hear about the music stuff no more. Man, I locked my studio up at the house so I wouldn't even go in there. 90 days I had nothing to do with music. My buddy D was doing this music conference here in Orlando, and he asked me to be on this panel to talk to new and young artists, like to tell them what, to expect in the business and what to do. And I'm like, you don't want me on that panel? I'm going to tell these people, pack it up. It ain't no good. Get out of here. Run. He's like, no, man, come on, man. You got a name. I need you at this event. They respect you, blah, blah, blah. So I did it. My heart wasn't in it. I carried a football over there to the conference with a couple of my buddies over here. We throwing ball out in the parking lot because I'm rebellious. I'm like, I'm going to show them this music thing don't mean nothing to me. I'm out there. I don't care about this music, right? I get up there on stage in the panel, and I put the face on. Anybody put the face on before? Like everything's good, you smile. I just love this music business, right? See, in the music business, you get good at faking it. But that gets tiring, man. It gets tiring to live something that you're not, or living in half-truths, somewhere between truth and the real you and the fake you, and you get lost. It's like, man, I hate this. But I got up there, played the role, sold life into him, told him the music business was great and all that. Guy come up to me that night, and he was like, hey, man, I need you to check my music out, give me some honest feedback. And God respected. So I'm like, okay. I get up the next morning, I go to check my email. He was supposed to send the audio file. Now, I haven't checked my music, emails, MySpace, nothing, because it was MySpace back then. That's how old it was. I hadn't checked none of that in 90 days. I open the email, and I'm going through the emails, and I see it said, Wild in California, this radio station. It said, so I clicked on it. It said, we played your record last night right here. It blew up the phones. Everybody started calling, requesting it. We played it 3 times, and we're going to add it into heavy rotation. We need you to call us immediately to do an interview and to set this thing up. Now, I've been in the business a long time. I'm like, this don't happen this way. First of all, most of the DJs want some money to play your record. Stations want money to play your record, or a promoter to come bring it in, or somebody you know over there. This is on the other side of the country. I don't know anybody over there in Cali, in San Fran. I didn't know anybody. So I'm like, that don't happen like that. And I didn't send them no record anyway. How'd they get it? Right? I've been sending records for years. The radio station, they didn't play it. How they gonna play something they ain't have? So I was skeptical. I'm still bitter. Like, I don't want to talk about music. But I Googled the station, I Googled the guy, and it was legit. It said, 4th largest radio station in the United States, known for breaking records. And I'm like, So let me see. So I called them up. Sure enough, it was real. It was the real deal. They had ripped my song right off MySpace and played it on the air. Okay, now, first thing that came to my mind, that prayer. I remember that prayer I said. I ran back in there, got my bottle, opened the thing up, pulled that paper out, went up, because then I ain't checked my MySpace in months. I had set a limit on there, like I was getting 500 plays a day. I said, if we get to 5,000, which is 10 times more, then God's in this. If he's not, then I know he's not. I go in there and check, and I don't have 5,000. I got 15,000. And I'm like, and all the things that was on that list, radio station, all of it was done. I hit my knees right down. I'm like, Lord, thank you. It was my bad. I wanted it too fast. I get it. I put a timeline on it. You didn't want me coming out in the 4th quarter. You wanted me in the 1st quarter so I get that spring break crowd. I got it. The record took off. 14 days, top 4 at 4, knocking the biggest artists off in the game. The record ran all up and down the West Coast, East Coast, everywhere. Everywhere but here. See, I wanted validation so bad, all them years of working, right? People knew around here, man, I had this dream of just blowing up. I wanted to show people, like, look, I wasn't just dreaming. But God got a sense of humor. He put it over there on the West Coast. Nobody ever even knew. I'm like, I'm number one out there. They're like, yeah, right, whatever. You've been saying that for years. I'm like, you gotta, come on, help me out. Took it over here. Back then it was 102 Jams. They played it one time, right, Joe? One time. And then tried to tell me all the things I need to do. I need to change the record. I said, all due respect, man, the fourth biggest station in the United States said it was perfect. And you, the 50th market, want me to change this and that and this and that? Just put it on one time. Do a slam at the jam. And if they like it, they call in and request it. You play it. If not, I just want it real. I'm not going to fake it. If it's real, if it's good, y'all accept it. If not, I'm okay with it. They played it, took 10 phone calls, 10 jammits, no slammits. That's the last time they ever played it, though. See, that's how sometimes it is local. You got global dreams, what I call, you speak global needs. You heard the Chinese, global needs. And most people speak local needs. You understand? They don't understand that. You go into Google, you try to translate your big dreams down to small-minded people. There's no translation in there. Anybody want to make $1 billion? Get a translation so you can translate big dreamers into small people so they can understand it. That's where the value is. But you got to be patient. Okay, God took this record off. I was like, ooh, we got it, Joe. We got us a record. We're going to get everything we worked for all them years. It's about to pay off. It don't work that way. Same thing, man. The record took off, got at the negotiating tables time and time again. We get to a label. Somebody says, we're going to sign you. It's a done deal. Next day, he got fired. Go to another label. Man, this is the record. Don't talk to no other label. This is it. We're going to cut the check. Next day, that label merged with another big major label. Fell right through the cracks. The record did well everywhere they played it, but the payoff never came the way I wanted it. So I was right back in August of 2007, right back where I was in November when I was mad. I'm like, God, I'd already quit the game, and I was okay with it. Why did you snatch me back just to wave and dangle in my face again? That's a cruel joke. But God had a plan, though. See, to me, looking back, he was just saying, I hear you. And I could do anything for you. I just need your attention. You know I could do. You know you didn't have nothing to do with it because I used to brag about the grind. We used to hustle, bro. Everywhere I went, they said, oh, here they come. There's a hustle right there. That's the hustle team, man. We see them everywhere. Everywhere. We want Hustler of the Month in the magazine for grinding. But see, God was like, you can't do this. I got to do this. All that hustle you got, it can only go so far. Then you're going to need me. But I can open them doors. Look what I did. So I realized, okay, he heard my prayer. I don't understand him. See, at this point in time, I wasn't deep in the word. But nothing like that. I just said, hey, are you real? That's all. But that's all he needed. Just drop a little seed and I will plant something in you later. See, I really needed to know he existed a couple months later. And I think with that music thing, I knew he existed. So when the war jumped off, which it will in your life, when the war jumped off, I had a connection. I had somebody to turn to. I knew where to go.
So from 20,000 people watching you on stage to the corner of your room.
Right.
And you versus you at this point, you mentioned a
right.
lot of things about this to trying to change your mind, basically to change your mindset, because mindset in your videos again, it is everything.
Right.
Where you think you are, that's who you can become. And tell us a little about the vision that you have now from that point. You know, when you're in the corner of your room, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking at that point in time, it's over. I mean, as I mentioned to you earlier, I said my last words over 30 times, thinking I was going to die. When these panic attacks would come on, I'd tell my wife, hey, you know, I love you, sorry, whatever. And I literally thought that was my last word. And I did this over and over and over. So, man, I was living in a constant state of trauma and fear. And to get that mic back, to get that vision that God gave me, man, it just empowered me. And every day I gained a little bit more of my life back, a little bit more of my life back, a little bit more of my identity back. You know, he started planting things in me, one little piece at a time, what I'm doing now. He gave me one little piece at a time. It wasn't like, oh, you're going to be a speaker and you're going to go do that. No. It was like, okay, I want you to write a book, you know. And I had been flirting with that, you know, and then later on I got the book finished. And then it was like, you know those motivational videos you used to listen to when you had panic attacks and you were walking outside every day having these panic attacks and the therapist told you to listen to these videos? You remember what you heard? Okay, you wrote songs for years, you produced for years, you were on a mic for years, you know what that is, and now you know this other. Okay, you can combine these two and you can go out and tell the world that I healed you and I'll heal them too. So like he started unveiling all these little things, man, one at a time. And as I mentioned earlier, when I rapped, I had this idea in my head, with this microphone, I could change my life. If I was good, I could get whatever I wanted, right? But God revealed to me behind this mic that I not only could change my life, but I could change the world. And that was totally different. I got behind that mic 17 years and never thought that way. For 17 years, I looked at that mic and I never thought that way, but it all changed. One day I was doing a video, like my 6th or 7th video that I had put on YouTube. And I still hadn't figured it out. I'm still playing with it. I don't know what's a career. I don't know what's any of that stuff. Just before anything blew up. And I'm standing in front of that mic and the light switch went off. It said, you can change the world right here. And then it was like another anointing came on me. More power came on me. More intensity arose in me. And then when I spoke with the mic, I started speaking with authority. I wasn't speaking from my head no more or my heart no more. I was speaking from the spirit. And I thought every time I opened my mouth, man, this power is going out, you know, to change the world. And now I got a way to fight back. 7 years, I didn't know how to fight back. It was like the enemy had me. I had my arms, you know, tied behind my back, and he's just beating on me every day, right? And I was, you know, I'm a fighter. I grew up as a martial artist, black belt, national champion, won state champion 4 years in a row, trained with the Olympic team, all that. So I knew about fighting. So when I got in this situation, I'm like, how do you fight your mind? It's not a person. Like, how do I get in there and scrap it out? It's me that I'm fighting with, you know? So then when I got in front of that mic, it's like, okay, this is how you're gonna fight back. This is what I want you to do. And then I was like, oh, all those years I couldn't fight. Like I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no. Yeah, I had no way to defend myself. And I'm like, Lord, you just anointed my mouth, and you put this microphone in front of me, and you're giving me a world audience to do it. I'm finna come hard, because I remember all those times when I was crying around that block every day. You know, every single day I'd go around to just tears, man. You know, Lord, why? You know, cussing at God, mad at God, numb at God, silent to God. Like every emotion you could do, man, I had it. So when he had healed me and started to bring me out, man, I took it very serious. You know, because I know there's somebody like me on the other side of that mic. On the other side of those videos, there's people thinking about suicide. There's people thinking about giving up. They got cancer, got a death sentence where they say they're only gonna live 6 weeks. These are the people listening to me. So I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm talking to me now, but now I get to talk me 7 years ago to that same person that was, you know, in drama back then. So I get on that mic now and I just rock thinking of me going around that block.
And it's amazing. You said something about this earlier when we were talking. You said, I'm so patient. And you see, when you're talking, it says, okay, you did higher level competition in martial arts.
Right.
You were a rapper, so God gives you 2 avenues to perfect your skills.
Right,
martial art to be competition.
Right.
The rap into your voice is
the
so
artist,
deep.
creativity.
My God, man, every time we listen to your voice on YouTube, it's always, I know right away it's you. It's really this thing. So, and now it gets you here. How's your patience and your skills and the trust in God? Seems like it's been your foundation for the whole time.
In my music career, everything had to be right now. You know, right now. I had no patience. You know, and I burned a lot of bridges, made a lot of mistakes. My passion was right, but I didn't have anybody, you know, mentoring me and coaching me and guiding me and, you know, took me under the wing and said, hey, you know, it'll be okay, play the long-term game. Nobody was telling me that. And my world is get it now, get it while it's hot. That's the life we live. But now it's like the long-term game. Once I shift to the long-term game, man, it's so empowering. Because now I'm principle-oriented, man, not visually oriented, like what I see in the world. No, it's what it's gonna be. You know, success is a war over the invisible, you know, and it requires vision and the faith to see what could be, can be, and will be when you water it with grind. So I know if I just tap into these principles that I learned during the 7-year struggle that I studied trying to conquer my own mental stuff, these principles, I know if I tap into them, they are guaranteed to produce fruit. So I need not be shaken by the world if it doesn't reflect yet
what I want it to be, because I'm going to project so hard out of me and my vision in my mind and communicate it and speak life so hard and so consistent that world is going to fold and bend to what I want it to be. So now I can play the long-term game, and then a patient man or woman becomes powerful. They become magnetic, and people will gather around that because they know and sense something is different. You know, most of the world don't have that long-term game mentality. They have the microwave. Let me put it in 15 seconds. I hope I be successful.
Everybody's like this now, right?
Yeah,
Want it quick, want
exactly.
it now with the social media. Everything's online. We get a like on Facebook is a little fulfillment inside, you know.
Right.
But you play the long game and you believe in something greater, that the dots somehow, right, they
Right.
will connect. Because if you look at your past, that made you who you are today,
Right.
which is amazing.
God is good. God
And
is good.
You told me about this earlier too. Says there's different leadership. There's motivational leaders.
Right.
There's motivational speakers, and then you told me you're a motivational artist,
Right.
which is unbelievable. From your brand to your voice to your inspiration.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about what that means to you.
The motivational artist aspect is, I used to be the songwriter, music producer. It's in my blood since I was 1 year old. I mentioned to you earlier, my grandmother had a music store, my mother music teacher, my father in the Music Hall of Fame for playing music. So I had this music and creativity vibe in me from day one. And when I got out of rapping, that seemed to be lacking. Like speaking and, you know, reciting things and like that fed my spirit on the motivational side because that was a part of me. But this artist and creative side there was a void there, right? So I kept in prayer about it. God revealed to me in Revelation, like, look, take the poetry, take the songwriting, take the producing that you used to do over there and bring it into what I've got you doing. That's what it's for. You know, you got this writing skill. If you give it to me, I will harness it and I will leverage it and I will send it out in the world. So I'm like, now I'm resonating on all levels on my inside. You know, everything is being tapped into and touched. I'm on fire with passion because there's so many things in what I do I'm passionate about. You know, whether it's positivity, self-help, I read that all day long. So that's in me, right? The speaking aspect and having a voice is me. And then the writing aspect, the creating and getting up every day and not knowing what's going to be on that paper, but having that ability. Oh, I just love to watch something from a blank piece of paper, go from the blank piece of paper to the dry erase board to the chalkboard to in reality, man. It's amazing. It's a euphoria and a high to watch the whole creation process, man. So I've made creativity a foundation of what I'm doing. So not just speaking, doing motivational speaking, man. I'm trying to incorporate this other unique thing that's on the inside of me that needs to be expressed. So that's why I'm marrying the two. I'm still in the process of learning how to blend these and marry these, but they are coming together. Eventually, this thing will be one unique product of its own. Yeah. But it still takes chiseling.
This. You know, we have motivational leaders, motivational speakers, but artists, you know, and again, like in the gym or wherever we're doing, we listen to your products all the time on YouTube because it's so different and it reach out to me and I know to the team, the Monarch. So it's a very blessing to have you here.
I got a question for you. Are you living life or is life living you? How bad do you want to be successful? Are you ready to level up in life? Are you ready to go to that next level? Are you sick of being average? I ask you again, are you living life or is life living you? Blessed and unstoppable, the international world tour. Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, coming to a city near you. I'll be teaching a 4-hour, life-changing seminar on the art of greatness. Arise, champion. Every city will sell out. Get your tickets now. Miami, LA, Chicago, New York, Houston, Phoenix. Be there. Get your tickets now at BillyAlsbrooks.com/events.